You have to have leverage. You have to have something you value more than your present way of doing things. Leverage can be pain or pleasure, right? We've been together 25 years. I love her more today than ever before. She is a force of nature, this woman. Really, really great. But yes, she's leverage in my life. My youngest daughter's massive leverage, she's 4.5 years old. It's beautiful. But I'll give you an example. I worked with a woman one time on stage, and she was a colon therapist and vegan, and but she was always sick because she's so stressed all the time, trying to be perfect at everything. There's a constriction in her body, right? And the level of stress was just ridiculous, right? So I was trying to get her to have some other options about what to do without boring you the whole story. I'm looking for leverage always. That's how you get someone to make a change. You got to make change a must, not a should. Not me making it to you. If I put a gun to your head, that's leverage. But some people would rather die than bend to your will. You have to find out what moves that person. It's unique for everyone, not what motivates them. I hate the word motivation. I've never used it. I want to know your drives. Look, if you're fat, you're motivated to eat. I want to know what's underneath. I want to know what the drives are. So this woman, I'm trying to help her make changes, and I show her these things and see the consequences, and she wouldn't change. So finally I said, man, I got to push this lady. I said, how long, I wouldn't tell her this, I asked, I said, how long will a person with a level of stress, with these things you're doing and these ailments, how long will a person like that live if they don't change? And she paused and she thought, and she said, probably to 35. How old are you? 32. So I thought, okay, she's gonna change now. I mean, she's gonna do it, right? That's the leverage, she's gotta change. But I can't change, I just can't, it's just how my life is. I said, this session is on videotape, And I said, how do you think your daughter's gonna feel when she's carrying your coffin and she knows that you knew you could shift this and you didn't? This is pretty intense. I mean, she thinks she's gonna die. If she doesn't do it, she probably could. So I'm picking up big leverage, right? She goes, I know, that's horrible, but I can't change. And part of my head, I'm like, holy shit, she's not gonna change here. What the hell's gonna change her? And then I said to her, yeah, what if her new mother's a meat eater? And she exploded on stage. That is not happening. I will not make this happen. I mean, she went berserk, and she goes, fine, I'm changing this now. There is always leverage. There is something that will make change a must and not a should. Change is never a matter of ability. It's always a matter of strong enough reasons, of motive. If you got strong enough reasons, you can do just about anything. But if you have weak reasons, you're not going to do anything. So the fact that you understand this is our discussion. Mm-hmm. In an event, you'd be in a rather peak state, and I take you through a process of consequence where you will envision what the consequences are, and then you can make that shift. And you still got to condition it. This specific change is the hardest one. Becoming a father, getting married, falling in love. There are certain events. Losing people will make you reevaluate things. Hitting a birthday, you're 33. When you hit your 40th birthday, I'm sure you don't think it'll be any different. I remember people telling me that, but you tend to reevaluate for some weird reason in our culture. And after 40, usually a 5-year or a 50-year, 60-year. It's just part of the way we look at life. There's a process you go through, and there'll be different things that trigger you. But when you want a real lasting change, you have to change the driving force. When we change these, it's changing your values. So again, think about how your brain is a predictor, and it's trying to close the gap between what it's predicting and what reality is. When it's not working, it looks for an answer. When you get to the point where your old strategy doesn't work enough and you have enough pain, you will search for something new. And if at that time we can give you something that actually works, you'll grab it. It's like if you're drowning in a sea of confusion and I throw you a life raft, you're not going to go, I don't like the color. You're going to grab a hold and it comes into your unconscious. And the last thing I'd say about that is, it's also about going beyond your conscious mind, right? If you ever try to do something and then sabotage yourself, it says consciously you wanted one thing, subconsciously another. I believe all lasting change happens in an altered state.
If you have ever said, this is the week I get it together, and then 2 days later you are back in the same routine, you are not broken, you are normal. Most people do not fail because they lack knowledge. They fail because their reasons are not strong enough in the moment that matters. This is why New Year promises often fade by mid-January. In the clip, Tony keeps using one word: leverage. Leverage is what makes change a must, not a should. A should is polite. It is the voice that says you should eat better, you should stop scrolling, you should save money, you should fix the relationship. A should has no teeth. When stress hits, the should disappears. A must is different. A must is when you decide, I am not doing this anymore, and you mean it even when you are tired. That is why someone can know exactly what to do and still do the opposite. You can know you should sleep earlier, but you keep watching videos at midnight. You can know you should exercise, but you choose the couch. You can know you should stop spending, but you buy something to feel better. In those moments, the habit has more leverage than your goal. The habit is giving you something right now. Comfort, escape, relief, distraction, a sense of control. Your future benefit feels far away, so it loses. Tony also says something that is almost annoying but very true. Change is not a matter of ability. It is a matter of strong enough reasons. Think about it. If someone offered you a large amount of money to stop smoking for 24 hours, you would find a way. If your child was in danger and the only way to help was to run up 10 flights of stairs, you would run. Ability did not change. Reasons did. So if you want change to be non-negotiable, you need more than a plan. You need to change the driving force. You need to build leverage, understand the real drive under your behavior, and then condition a new pattern until it becomes your default. That is what we are doing in this video. 3 steps. Step 1. Create leverage. Make staying the same feel more expensive than changing, not as a threat, but as clarity. Step 2. Find the real drive. Stop fighting the surface behavior and address what you are actually chasing underneath it. Step 3. Condition the change. Build a simple system that makes follow-through automatic, even when your mood drops. By the end, you will not just feel inspired. You will have a way to make change stick on an ordinary day, when you are busy, when your phone is buzzing, when you are stressed, and nobody is cheering for you. Now, let us start with step 1, because until change becomes a must, your brain will keep negotiating with you. Leverage is the moment when staying the same becomes more painful than changing. Tony says, leverage can be pain or pleasure. Pain leverage is what you lose if you keep the old pattern. Pleasure leverage is what you gain when you follow through. Most people try to change with weak reasons. They say, I want to be healthier, or I want to be more productive. Those goals sound good, but they do not beat temptation at night when you are tired and your brain wants comfort. So make the consequences clear and make the payoff real. First, ask the pain question. If nothing changes, what does this cost me in 6 months, 1 year, and 5 years? Be concrete. If you keep skipping workouts, the cost might be low energy, poor sleep, and feeling older than you are. If you keep wasting time online, the cost might be missed chances and constant stress. If you keep avoiding a hard talk, the cost might be resentment that grows until you snap. Second, ask the pleasure question. If I do change, what becomes possible? Think in feelings in daily life. Maybe you wake up calm instead of rushed. Maybe you feel proud because you kept a promise to yourself. Maybe you stop worrying about money because you finally have a buffer. Maybe you walk into a room with more confidence because you know you are doing the work. Now write one leverage statement. If I do not change, I will pay with blank. If I do change, I will gain blank. Put it where you will see it when you usually slip. A quick exercise is a 2-column list. On the left, write pain of staying the same. On the right, write pleasure of changing. Write scenes, not slogans. Read this list when you feel the urge to quit. It reminds you why short-term comfort is not worth the long-term cost. Example 1. Someone wants to stop scrolling at night. The pain is worse sleep and a short temper the next day. The pleasure is waking up clear and having time for something that matters. Example 2 is spending. The pain is monthly panic and the quiet shame of hiding purchases. The pleasure is calm, freedom, and options. Write your statement like you are talking to your future self, not perfect words, just honest words. Clarity creates strength. Do it today. Tony used a strong story in the clip about a woman who would not change until the consequence became personal. You do not need to scare yourself, but you do need honesty. Vague reasons create weak follow-through. One more move that helps. Tie leverage to what you love. Your health for your kids. Your energy for your partner. Your focus for your future. When change connects to love, it becomes a must. Leverage is step 1. Step 2 is finding the real drive under your habit. Tony says he hates the word motivation. He does not want to know what you want. He wants to know what drives you. That matters because most habits are not random. They are strategies. Even the habits you dislike are trying to help you feel something or avoid something. So if you want lasting change, stop fighting the surface behavior and look underneath it. Here are a few common drives. Comfort. When you feel stressed, food, shopping, or drinks can feel like a warm blanket. Escape. When life feels heavy, scrolling gives you a quick exit from your own thoughts. Control. When you feel uncertain, over-planning and overworking can make you feel in charge. Connection. When you feel lonely, you might chase attention or stay in a bad situation. Certainty. When a task feels unclear, procrastination avoids the discomfort of not knowing. Now ask 3 questions. Question 1. What am I really getting from this habit? Question 2. What am I trying to avoid feeling? Boredom, rejection, failure, anxiety, sadness. Question 3. What do I actually need and what healthier action gives me that same result? This is the key. If you remove the habit but keep the same need, the habit comes back when pressure rises. So swap the strategy, not the need. If your drive is relief, build a short relief ritual that is not destructive. A 10-minute walk, a shower, music, breathing, something that calms your body. If your drive is connection, plan real contact. One message to a friend, a weekly coffee, joining a group. If your drive is control, create a tiny plan you can execute. Pick one next action, put it on the calendar, then stop spinning in your head. If your drive is certainty, break the task down. Open the document, write the first sentence, ask one question. Uncertainty shrinks when you move. Here is a relatable example. Someone keeps eating junk at night. They think the problem is food, but the drive is comfort after a hard day. The swap is a comfort routine that supports sleep, like tea, a planned snack, and a screen-free wind down. Another example. Someone keeps delaying a business idea. They think they are lazy. The drive is fear of looking foolish. The swap is a tiny rep that lowers risk. Send one message, draft one offer, make one post. Small exposure builds courage. This step is also about values. Tony says lasting change happens when you change the driving force, meaning what you value most in the moment. If you value comfort more than health, you will choose comfort. If you value approval more than peace, you will overwork. Step 2 is choosing a higher value and building a new way to meet your needs. Once you understand the drive and have a replacement, you are ready for step 3. Conditioning. Insight is not enough. You have to train the new pattern until it feels normal. A lot of people think change is one big decision. Tony says even if you have leverage and you understand your drive, you still have to condition it. Conditioning means you train the new behavior until it becomes your default. You do not debate it every day, you just do it. Conditioning is a small system that survives bad days. Start with one minimum daily standard, not the perfect version, the minimum. The goal is to avoid the all or nothing trap. If you want to get fit, your minimum might be 10 minutes of movement. If you want to build a side hustle, your minimum might be 20 minutes of focused work. If you want to save money, your minimum might be tracking spending for 3 minutes. Minimum standards keep the chain alive, and the chain builds identity. Next, change the environment so the good choice is easy and the bad choice is harder. If your phone steals your time, charge it outside the bedroom. If snacks are your weak spot, keep them out of the house or out of sight. If you procrastinate, open the document before you walk away so the next start is simple. If you overspend online, remove shopping apps and delete saved payment info. Then add one accountability point. People follow through faster when there is a cost to quitting. It can be a friend you report to once a week. It can be a class you paid for. It can be a calendar invite with someone else. The point is to make the plan real outside your head. Here is what this looks like. Fitness, minimum 10 minutes. Shoes by the door. 2 workouts scheduled with a friend each week. Money, automatic transfer on payday. 1 spending rule, like no delivery during weekdays. A weekly money check on Sunday. Focus. A deep work block 3 days a week. Phone in another room. A clear list of the one task that matters most. Also track the behavior, not the emotion. Many people wait to feel motivated. Conditioning ignores mood. Tracking gives you a scoreboard. Did I do the minimum? Yes or no? That data builds confidence. And celebrate the small wins. If you did the minimum, count it. You are teaching your brain that follow through is who you are now. If you missed, do not panic. Adjust the system. Lower the minimum. Move the habit to a better time. Fix the setup so the next rep is easier. Finally, keep the system small for 7 days. People try to rebuild their whole life in one burst, then crash. Conditioning is repetition. 7 days is enough to prove the pattern is real. Leverage gives you the reason. Drives give you the need. Conditioning gives you the structure. But there is still one enemy that can sabotage all of it. The split between what you want consciously and what feels safe subconsciously. That is what we tackle next. Tony says something that can explain years of frustration. Sometimes you consciously want one thing, but subconsciously you want something else. That is why you can be serious in the morning and still self-sabotage later. Tony says lasting change happens in an altered state. In plain words, change your state first, then choose. Do not ask the tired midnight version of you to be heroic. Use movement, cold water, or music to shift fast right now. Your conscious mind sets goals. It wants to get fit, build a business, learn a skill, stop wasting time. Your subconscious mind cares about safety, familiarity, and quick comfort. It would rather keep what is known than risk what is new. Even if the old pattern is hurting you, it feels predictable. Tony mentions your brain is a predictor. When reality feels messy, the brain grabs the fastest answer. That is why in a stressful moment you reach for the same habit. The habit is a shortcut to a familiar feeling. So how do you reduce sabotage? First, change your state fast. If you wait until you are deep in the spiral, the old pattern wins. Interrupt early. If you feel the urge to scroll, stand up and walk for 2 minutes. If you want to eat out of stress, drink water and breathe for 60 seconds. Small moves create space to choose. Second, pre-decide your response to temptation. Do not negotiate in the moment. Write simple if-then rules. If I miss a day, then I do the minimum the next day. I never miss twice. If I feel overwhelmed, then I do 10 minutes and stop. If I want to scroll, then I do my priority first. Rules protect you when emotions are loud. Third, use visual leverage. Put your leverage statement on your phone lock screen. Put shoes in the doorway. Put a note on the fridge. Visual cues keep the must in front of you when your mind wants to drift. Fourth, change friction. Make the good behavior easy. Make the bad behavior annoying. Prepare your workout clothes. Keep healthy food visible. Open the work document in advance. Log out of the apps that steal your time. Remove saved passwords. Keep the phone in another room. Fifth, plan for the moment after you slip. A slip becomes sabotage when you turn it into a story about who you are. Replace that with a reset plan. One slip is information. It shows where the system is weak. Adjust, lower the minimum, add support. Move the habit to a better time. The goal is not to never fail. The goal is to return fast. If you take one idea from this part, take this. You are not trying to win with willpower. You are building a setup that makes the right choice feel normal. Now we close with 3 steps you can do today to make change non-negotiable. Step 1. Write your leverage statement in 2 minutes. If I do not change, it will cost me blank. If I do change, I gain blank. Make it specific. Put it where you will see it when you usually slip. Step 2. Identify the real drive and swap the strategy. Ask, what am I trying to feel or avoid? Then pick a healthier action that gives the same payoff in 5 minutes. If you scroll to escape, your swap might be a short walk. If you stress eat for comfort, your swap might be tea and a planned snack. If you procrastinate to avoid confusion, your swap might be opening the file and doing the next tiny action. Step 3. Build a 7-day conditioning plan. Choose one minimum daily standard. Choose one environment change. Choose one if-then rule for tough moments. Track it as yes or no for 7 days. Closing story. Tony said, when you are drowning and someone throws you a life raft, you do not argue about the color. You grab it. Most people stay stuck because they debate while they drown. They wait for motivation and call it being realistic. Do not wait. Create leverage, find the drive, condition the pattern. Make change a must, not a should, and your life will start to move.